Well, this is how your afternoons are going to be now on the weekend, as double-header IPL action is coming our way in the 2023 edition for the first time. Our attention lies first up at the game in Mohali between Punjab Kings and Kolkata Knight Riders on ESPN Cricket for T20 timeout. It's a good afternoon to Tom Moody as well as Naman Ojha.
Good afternoon.
I love the double headers, the day games. I know some players don't and some teams don't, some coaches don't. Did you enjoy the double headers?
Yeah, I did. I preferred to play the first one, not the second one. Not that I was playing, but coach the first one, then the second one. Purely because you always felt, you know, the players were a little bit distracted with what was happening in that first game, particularly at the back end of the IPL where results do matter.
Yeah.
Suddenly eyes are on, you know, or if these guys lose, it's not so much pressure on us having to win today and all those things which, you know, shouldn't be a distraction.
And I just think when as a viewer I watch it, all your IPL games are at night. Every now and then there'll come the afternoon game, which has its own charm, right? Cricket being played under the sun. Do you like the IPL being played in the afternoon, Naman Ojha?
Under the sun, actually, I don't like, because it's very, very tough on bodies, as it's very, very hot condition here in India, so it's very, very hot. So better to play in the evenings, I think. And
yeah, well, so be it. But we've got a game that we're looking forward to, and it's a curious two teams that we must discuss because they are both ridden with injuries, key player unavailability. So Punjab Kings and Kolkata Knight Riders, these are 2 points you think would both teams might actually think is bonus points. It started well for the Knight Riders. They've won the toss. They're going to bowl if we think that indeed is an advantage. And we straight away will get into team selection because we're waiting to see how the impact player is used or whether we have any indication of how teams would like to go for it. Let's first confirm that KKR have gone in with Andre Russell, Sunil Narayan, Tim Saudi and Rahmanullah Gurbaz. So Gurbaz is a talking point here, Tom, because we thought there's a case perhaps for them to play the Indian keeper and see what they want to do with their fourth overseas. But you like the faith and confidence shown in Rahmanullah Gurbaz?
Well, Gurbaz, we know, is a dangerous player. We've seen him for Afghanistan and also playing in other leagues where he can be quite devastating at the top of the order. So maybe they're relying on that sort of impact at the top of the order in the power play overs. So, you know, I quite like him as a player. He's unconventional. He's one of those players you look at, it's very hard to sit down and plan for in those power play overs. You know, you're talking to your bowling group, right, what are the areas we're looking to bowl? He hits 360 and he's not afraid to do that from ball one. So those types of players are difficult to plan for.
KKR had a problem with their keeper last year, Naman. They tried Sheldon Jackson and Sam Billings. They let a number of players go. They've got Jagdishan and now they've gone the overseas option with Gurbaz and there's Liton Das who's not available for today's game. But is this the right call? Would you have liked to see someone like Jagdishan who had a pretty good Vijay Hazare season?
yeah, Jagdishan also had a good Vijay Hazare and Mushtaq Ali season, but I prefer Liton Das as he has performed really well in subcontinent conditions.
I think he's just unavailable for this game.
Oh, he is not available.
Yeah,
so I think Rahmatullah Gurbaz I think is a good choice because his stroke play is I think and if he keeps going he's very, very dangerous and he can turn the table.
Yeah. So what can you tell us about Nitish Rana, the captain? Because I'm curious to know what we're expecting there, and we must say it with the mention that Nitish Rana the captain and Chandrakant Pandit the coach. Yeah.
I think Chandrakant Pandit, I think he has his different way of thinking. I think he wants to control the game from outside as well as from inside. So he wants.
Isn't that every coach, Tom?
No, not really. No, it's interesting because, you know, the coaching side of thing, it really depends on the captain and how you sort of combine as a leadership group. So
yeah, no, but Chandu Pandit is a unique sort of figure in Indian coaching. Naman, please, if you could carry on the point, so what kind of coach he is? Yeah.
No, he likes very, very disciplined team. Whatever they plan, I think you can't change the plan without his permission. So I think that's sometimes in the middle. I think it's very, very tough for captain. So they need to coordinate. I think when team goes in, I think players need to coordinate with captain, not with the coach. I think coach can send a message that try this if you
for a consideration.
For a consideration, yes, correct.
The interesting thing is that he's clearly got a very good record as a coach. But the IPL is a completely different environment where you've got to combine overseas talent with domestic talent. And there's egos and there's all sorts of, complications around that combination of mixing those two cultures. And then you've got the other layer of management and ownership. So it's not an easy combination to deal with.
If you had to coach a coach, let's say, and you had to have a word with the Chandrakant Pandit, who's got this great record, like you mentioned, Ranji Trophy, Vijay Hazare, domestic Indian cricket. Usually, franchises go for coaches who have coached in franchise leagues around the world. Now, do you like this direction? It could be a new direction that perhaps franchises take. And other than the mentioned points you've made on egos, etc., what do you think is going to be his biggest challenge?
I think trying to bring both the overseas and the domestic players on the same page during thick and thin. It's all very good when you're winning, because a lot of things can get sort of brushed away under the carpet. But when you're under pressure and you've lost a couple of games, and that's when a few sores can be exposed. So I think that from his perspective, it's important that he gets his message and his method across and understanding across to everyone, and everyone buys into that. Because if they don't buy into it and things go wrong, and that's only by losing 1 or 2 games, by going wrong, he can lose a group very, very quickly.
Yeah. Do you sense the senior players in Russell Narayan have a role here? Because I'm trying to think of whether there needs to be almost a big name coaching big players at times, especially big egos.
Yeah, look, not necessarily, but the smart play would be to have Narayan in one pocket and Russell in the other pocket. That would be the smart play, to have them very much as his allies, because they're very strong personalities with a lot of experience in IPL and in T20 cricket, period. If he's got them on side, everything will be running smoothly.
All right, well, there you had it. It's a test for Chandrakant Pandit, who of course has such a great track record in domestic Indian cricket. Right, let's talk about teams now. And we also know Punjab Kings had some serious player availability. It's Shikhar Dhawan who's forgotten his 4th overseas at the top. We can confirm, in fact, that he's playing Sikandar Raza and Bhanukar Rajapaksa. Sam Curran, we knew, is going to be a regular starter for them. Thank God he's fit, because the other 3 lock-in overseas players are all either ruled out, injured or unavailable in Bairstow, Livingston and Rabada. Nathan Ellis plays, so no game for Matt Short, and it looks like Prabh Simran Singh will partner Shikhar Dhawan at the top of the order. Tom, you were a big endorser for Matt Short. Do you think that's the best team they could have put out?
Oh, we'll see. I'll tell you at the end of the match whether it's the best team. I can understand the logic of Sikandar Raza. Raza's been in terrific form over the last couple of years, wherever he's travelled and played his game. And they probably feel that his experience is probably outweighed the immediate form of Matt Short, given that he hasn't played in India, hasn't played in the IPL, well, neither has Raza for that matter, but Raza's played international cricket. So, Liam Livingstone's shoes are big shoes to fill. He's an incredibly dynamic middle order player that can bowl off spin and leg spin. So, Raza can certainly do the middle order bit, but whether he's got the same game, we'll see today.
Yeah. I mean, it's a curious Punjab team that surprised us a little, Naman, when they retained Shah Rukh Khan, player for big money, didn't play him for a large part of last season, but yet retained him. And now he's starting again this year. I'm just trying to think of what you're expecting from a Shah Rukh Khan this season.
Yes, when you are spending so much money on a player, he needs to play all the games. So when they've dropped him, I think, and again they've retained him, so they have faith in the player. So I think, and a different captain and a different coach can give a better performance by a player.
Yeah,
that's what.
Well, that's an important middle order there. A lot of them have middle order roles. And Jitesh Sharma, whose stocks really rose. Do you like what you're saying of Jitesh Sharma, who's now the designated wicketkeeper in this team as well? Yes,
Jitesh is, I think, good. I think he is a good prospect. He has just made into the Indian team. So what I feel is Jitesh has got a very good hand-eye coordination. He can hit the ball, and I think his keeping skills are also very good. So I prefer Jitesh.
Right. Enough bowling options there. for them. And of course, we will see Punjab bowling a little later in the day. But let's just confirm the Kolkata team for you as well. There you have it. Now, Mandeep Singh and Rahmanullah Gurbaz at the top of the order. You've got Nitish Rana, Rinku Singh, Andre Russell. Now, this is quite the team here. It looks like there's no Venkatesh Iyer. So, Venki Iyer is either injured or unavailable, which is quite the blow at the start of your season. Rinku Singh, Andre Russell, Shardul Thakur traded for big money, Tim Saudi and Umesh Yadav, along with Anukul Roy, who also gets a game. My word, Tom, there are more surprises or more changes than I thought in this team, and that doesn't quite give you a lot of confidence if you're a KKR fan.
Well, it gives you, it gives you a lot of uncertainty, doesn't it? Yeah, there's a few names there that I wasn't expecting to see. What concerns me when I have a first look at that is the depth of quality of the batting. You know, that's going to be a massive issue because, as we know, to have that experience in your batting, whether it be at the top or in the middle, is so important. You know, particularly when you're trying to compete against world-class opposition. I believe Venki Iyer is actually on the subs bench, so he is available and he's not starting. This is a retained player and someone who they obviously put a lot of faith in, and he's on the subs bench. What do you make of that? Well, I'd be very surprised if he's not subbed in. That's what I make of that. And
this is obviously the bowling first 11, so they think they don't need Venki Iyer.
Well, that's exactly. They're declaring that they're not, requiring his bowling. But then again, he might be, injected into the game during the bowling part after someone's played their role with the new ball.
Yeah, but again, if I look at that team, Tom, they are bowling first, and they've named Mandeep Singh in an 11. Right.
Yeah, well, maybe they're valuing his fielding.
Right.
There's all different dynamics to it, but Iyer's not a bad fielder either. So look, again, it's very hard for us.
So
to
let's see how many bowling. They've got 5 bowling options on the right. Though Anukul Roy we've not seen a lot out of. Shardul Thakur, Andre Russell. So you've got about 7 bowling options there. So they're probably saying, we don't need Venki Iyer, but what's the harm in naming him? That's all I'm thinking of here.
That's how this coach Chandu Pandit thinks that he can change when you don't see a player, and Venki Iyer should be in the playing 11 as he was retained, and I think he has done well, but that's how his coaching style is.
I also think, can I just bring that KKR team with the impact subs back on? What is interesting here is, in spite of naming 4 overseas players, there's one on the bench on the in the impact subs list, which obviously is not something he can do.
So we've got confusion already.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that is true.
So if I follow our updates from the ground, we've got Suyash Arora, Jagadish Venki Iyer and David Wieser, and the team already has Gurbaz, Russell, Narayan and Saudi. So
yeah, okay, well maybe they're anticipating an overseas player coming off the field injured, or
I still don't think you can make that swap though.
But can't they come as a fielding replacement, not as a replacement,
as
just
a
as a fielding replacement? So maybe they're thinking that, maybe Narayan,
which one of Russell
Narayan
or
or Russell have historically, come on and off the field, and then you can, during that time they're off the field, they've got an overseas player that can field for those 2 or 3 overs that they're changing their shirt or getting their hamstring rubbed.
Come on, still, is that a serious answer?
I'm giving you solutions.
But is that a serious answer?
I'm just trying to work out why they would do it.
If you have a squad of domestic Indian players, someone can bat or bowl, and you're bowling first, you'd have some batting option there that you might want to go with.
It wouldn't be the choice that I'd go with, but it's possibly what they're thinking.
Okay, confusion. We were expecting this. Right, let's just have a look. Let's confirm it, because I don't want to make a mistake. There's no point now. And there you see it. So among the 5 impact options, David Wieser is not one as per the playing conditions, because you have named 4 overseas: Rahmanullah Gurbaz, Andre Russell, Sunil Narayan and Tim Saudi. All right, so we'll see how things go. But let me get a word from Naman Ojha as well. There's a lot of faith being shown in some domestic players here. Mandeep Singh perhaps to open the batting that could be a role that he plays, or I don't know, Venki Iyer will come in and that batting order will change a little bit, but what do you expect?
I think little confusion for me when I saw the team as Mandeep is opening, I have not seen Mandeep opening in an IPL game or
He has done that a bit for Punjab.
But he is not.
But he's been everywhere. He's been up and down.
He's been up and down.
Yeah, he's been up and down so many times. So I don't find Venki Iyer is opening in T20s and he has done well. So what I think is, for his confidence, I think he should be in the first playing 11. After 3-4 games, then you can try something new. But from day one, I think if you put him out, I think that will shake his confidence.
Right. As I look at the Punjab Kings lineup with the subs, I'm not sure they've figured this out either. They've named 4 overseas and then Matthew Short on their impact options. Right, Tom, go for it.
Yeah, I'm just giving the same answer as I gave before. I think maybe Matthew Short, their thinking is they want an overseas sub as a potential replacement fielder, not to be subbed in to replace from a player perspective, but if an overseas player comes off the field for an over or two because of a bathroom break or, that's got to see the physio, they're wanting an overseas specialist to be able to replace that player for the over or two.
Can I just bring that team up again? Now we're just going to think of, is this the optimum batting first team for Punjab Kings, right? So you got Prabh Simran, Dhawan, Rajapaksha, Jitesh, Karan, Raza, Shah Rukh Khan, and then you've got the bowlers. I'm just trying to think, Tom, could there have been a better balance at all of is this the strongest batting first team? There's Rishi Dhawan, who's on the bench, of course, is an all-round option they have. But could they have optimized their batting anymore? Or do you think that's enough batting in that team? Atharva Taide is an opening bat. He's not in the 11 either, as they bat first.
I think Harpreet Singh Bhatia can come in the place. That's what I feel. That middle order, I think he is a very good bat. So he can come in. So they have a balanced batting, because I don't find balance in their batting. Yeah,
but I'm just saying this is the batting first team. So obviously your subs are kept in mind. I'm assuming impacting the second innings.
Yeah, you're looking at a bowler, one of the domestic bowlers, that could be sitting in the sub station, and another like a Rishi Dhawan who can bat a bit down the order, being in that batting lineup. That's your point, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what my point is anymore. I've just been confused.
But I think that's the uncertainty with a lot of captains and coaches are having at this stage is understanding exactly how they can maximise this particular sub rule.
Yep.
So what you're saying basically is Punjab are batting first. Their worst domestic bowler potentially doesn't need to be in their playing 11 to begin with.
Yes.
So in their sub bench, who's the best batsman that's just going to add depth to their batting lineup that can play a role in the first half of the game and then be subbed out, and then that specialist bowler comes into the second innings.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, I don't think the captains
like
and coaches are thinking quite like that, or that maybe they want to reserve the right to use that sub as the game unfolds.
Like I could see clarity in thought, at least, from CSK yesterday. They played their strongest batters, everyone could bat, and then they subbed a specialist batter and brought in Tushar Deshpande, who's their best seam bowling option on the bench. So you could see clarity there. Yep. But we're not quite sure what to make of today, so that's fun. I'll tell you what, let's focus on things we do know. Sam Curran is a player whose stock has only been on the rise. He is now the record holder of the highest price at an IPL auction. And we've got Matt Roller, who's followed Sam Curran's career very closely through the years, and he's in our ESPN Cricinfo studios in Mumbai, and he's got a point that's going to trigger a conversation with Tom and Naman. Let's see what Matt has to say about Sam Curran.
In December, Punjab Kings made Sam Curran the most expensive buy in IPL auction history, spending 18.5 crore to bring him into their side. It's not too difficult to work out why. Curran was player of the tournament and player of the match in the final as England won the T20 World Cup just 6 weeks before the auction took place in December. But what's more difficult to work out is exactly how Curran will fit into Punjab's side. Clearly, he offers them some balance, which they lacked last year, as a genuine all-rounder who can contribute with the bat and with the ball. But his role with the ball is the most interesting thing, given his IPL career to date. He's been slightly more expensive than he would have liked in the power play, but more to the point, he's gone at nearly 11s when he's bowled at the death in the IPL in his career. He really emerged and kicked on in that role during the World Cup, becoming Jos Buttler's go-to guy at the death. But how will Shikhar Dhawan use him for Punjab Kings in IPL 2023?
Yeah, I could see the slightly humorous side of Matt Roller talking about Sam Curran, both outstanding at what they do, and yet they probably look like they should still be in school. But now let's put the question that Matt asked about Sam. He's used in many ways as a bowler. What's his best use in the IPL, given what we just saw those numbers? He's not as good at the death in the league historically.
I think it's still early stages with Sam Curran with regards to measuring him just purely by numbers. Clearly he had an unbelievable World Cup and he was pivotal to England's success there. But I think that the beauty of someone like Sam Curran with bat and ball, he's so versatile. With the ball we know he can swing it when it's new. He's developed some really good death skills, which he showed in the recent World Cup. So I think that he'll be, used really throughout the whole innings with the ball and with the bat. I see him as a floater. I don't see him as a set position player because he has got the ability to hit boundaries. And having worked with Sam Curran in another franchise tournament in England over the last couple of years, he brings quite a unique energy to a dressing room. He's got this real positive energy around him, so a lot of people naturally gravitate to him. So that from a team culture point of view is really, really important. So he'll bring a different energy to Kings 11. They would have experienced that previously because he's been there before. So there's many different departments that Sam Curran will add value to that dressing room up at Punjab.
Yeah, in your experience, though, what's been the biggest challenge in making a death bowler successful bowling at the death in other leagues, but not quite being able to execute it in the IPL? Have you been able to identify a reason for why that happens?
Well, I think here it's a lot harder to defend the back end overs purely because of the dimensions of the grounds and some of the pitches that you play on can be brutal. The ball seems to disappear here in India far more often than it does. In Australia, for instance, you only have to look at the World Cup, how many players were caught on the boundary.
Yep.
Against here, it goes back 10 rows and people are jumping up and down. It's 10 rows back, wow. MCG, caught out, oh, that's a reckless shot. It's the same shot, one's out, in a different country, different venue, it's 6. So, it's very hard bowling at the back end of the innings here in India, particularly with some of the venues and the size of some of those. Look at one caddy, look in Bangalore and a place like that.
Perhaps Mohali is not the worst home venue then for Sam Curran, Naman?
Yes, Mohali I think has a bigger dimensions.
Yeah.
So and plus he has got a very good quality of reverse swinging and in death overs. So what I feel is yes, he can add some very good bowling, plus he has got a very good batting option. So
I was quite excited to see the entire bowling attack together because it's an exciting one. If Sam Curran, when everyone's available, Rabada, Arshdeep, Rahul, Chahar, that's 4 pretty solid bowlers you'd like to have in your team. Now there's no Rabada today.
No.
How does that affect bowling plans? What's Nathan Ellis bringing to the table?
Well, he's someone that can bowl at the death. That's what he's sort of gained his reputation, in Australia and the times that he's played here in the IPL is he's got great skills at the death. He's got a very good slow ball. He's got a good Yorker that he can rely on. And he's one of those characters that welcomes those overs. A lot of people sort of go missing when it comes to those last few overs where Nathan Ellis will step up and say, yeah, give me the ball, I'm ready to go, because this is what I'm paid to do. So I think he's a really good addition. So when you've got someone like Ellis and Curran to be able to bowl, maybe 2 and 2 at the back end, or maybe one of them bowling 2 and the other one bowling 1, I think you're feeling reasonably confident. But you're right, Raunak, in that their bowling attack is quite an exciting one when Rabada arrives, because you could actually play Ellis as well as an overseas and play 2 overseas pace bowlers. Sam Curran is your all-rounder, and then one other overseas player, depending on fitness of Livingston.
All right. Well, can he bat Nathan Ellis? Because again, he's in the team that's been named here to bat first. I'm back to my point.
Well, yeah, that's another layer of the complication, isn't it? We talk about the domestic sort of sub, but
again,
then you've got the international sub.
Again, you could have named Rishi Dhawan here and then sub Nathan Ellis in with the ball, but can he bat?
Not to the point that.
All right. So I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You're not alone though.
Okay. And we can't even sort of blame Chandu Pandit for his first IPL game in charge, whether he's got a couple of things on his mind and he's got the team sheet a little messed up. Trevor Bayliss has had all sorts of experience of coaching all over the world. So this is something new for all of us, and we'll, I'm sure, get there at some point. Now, Prabh Simran Singh's been shown faith in, and he's very good at the top of the order. That's somewhere he's been in good form of late as well. That's a damn good image we've got as well of Prabh Simran Singh. I'm glad that we've put that up. Average is 40, and he's been around there and thereabouts. He's got a reputation that's building, Naman, but is he one of those sort of unlikely players or uncapped players that you see having a big season this year, Prabh Simran Singh?
I've seen him playing. He has played against me. So I've seen him. He is kind of a stroke play. He takes his chances and he loves to take his chances and score runs really fast. But I want to see at this level how he can take his chances, because I think bowlers because against the quality bowler, I think he needs to make sure that he don't give much chances, because
Yeah, that's something that we need to see for Prabh Simran Singh, but he's got a good record. Now, Kolkata, this is a team that also needs to bounce back from what was a disappointing season last year round. And if you just look at their top 5 run getters, you'll see that they relied a bit on Rinku Singh's runs towards the end. Venki Iyer got dropped. When your top batters got you 400 runs by IPL standards, that's a bad season, isn't it, Tom? You normally have one guy at least who's got you the 500-600 season. And if you're in the top 5, you got a guy with 170. Batting was the challenge. I'm not sure they fixed it this year.
No, they haven't fixed it. And losing their leading run scorer and captain is a massive blow for them, and an unexpected one that they obviously haven't planned for. If they knew that pre-auction, maybe their strategy at the auction may have been completely different. But it just shows you the value of your top end, your high quality Indian superstars.
Yep.
If you've got one or two of them in your side, they make such a significant difference.
Yep. I really have no idea what to make of this game, so it's time to predict for Tom Moody and Ojha. Tom was very good with his 177 yesterday. CSK got just one more than that. What are we expecting from KKR, from Punjab batting first?
Punjab batting first. Well, without really understanding how the pitch is going to play there, I don't know if there's been much cricket there of recent, but from memory, the scores sit around that 160 to 170, so I'm going to sit on 163.
Darren Ganga said it's light brown in colour, the surface. There isn't much grass and it feels hard, and there shouldn't be much of a change batting first or second. So there you go. And some uneven boundary dimensions of the ground. So maybe they're not playing on the centre surface.
Okay, so there's a short side. I might make a slight adjustment to my 163 and go to 169.
One more 6. Okay.
That's it.
Naman.
175.
Very good. One more 6 for Naman. So that's 2 6s for Naman.
Because the wicket, I think, when you play in the afternoon games, I think you have very good wicket to bat on. And they are practicing from last 7-8 days there, so they might know better.
Why don't I make it 3 more 6s then and make it 181?
Okay, perfect.
We'll leave it there. It's easy to remember as well.
Yep.
Join us at half time as we break down how these teams who've curiously named 11s that have surprised us end up using their impact subs. Should make for a fun conversation with Tom Moody and Naman Ojha on ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout. And before I leave you, again a reminder, do download the ESPN Cricket for mobile app for the fastest live scores, the sharpest analysis, and all our exhaustive coverage around the IPL. Look forward to your company at the end of the Punjab innings. Bye-bye.